What's up, everyone? I am TokuTylor, and today we will be talking episode 8 of Lupinranger vs. Patoranger. This episode was amazing. I loved it so much. I said it was going to be good, and it was good. I was so excited at the end of this. Or throughout the whole thing, actually. I was excited. So I'm just gonna get started, and we'll get into this amazing episode. So we start with the Lupinrangers fighting a group of portermen near this like industrial area. No gangler, just the foot soldiers basically, which I found kind of interesting. There's no gangler just yet, but while that's happening, the Patoranger are going over Sukasa's theory about the Gerrer trio, as they're being called, because Bistro Gerrer, the three people who work there being the actual Lupinrangers. So they do these like background checks on the Gerrer trio, or I'll just call them the Lupinrangers because we know they're the Lupinrangers, but they do background checks on them about, their history, like everything before they started working at the bistro, and they don't really find anything. They find some tragic sort of stories about, Umika's classmates going missing and uh, Toma's fiance leaving him mysteriously or something. They don't really go into Kyrie's brother, which I found kind of odd. Like, you would think, well, they did talk about his parents. Uh, I think his parents were killed. Something happened to Kyrie's parents and stuff like that, so they know something tragic has happened to each of them, but that doesn't really mean that they're thieves just because of these things. Everybody has tragic, moments in their life, so they don't have any evidence, as they say. So they decide to create a decoy gangler using Jim Carter, their robot, partner, and putting a fake safe on top of his head with like tape. It's kind of funny, but we'll get into that in a bit. So at the bistro, Sukasa and Sakia are beginning the operation to kind of lure them out with this fake gangler in another area. So they're gonna go in and basically act like there's a gangler attack. So to see what Toma and Umika will do if they'll actually leave the store or leave the bistro. Sorry. And they say Kyrie is like upstairs in the bistro on his break, so that's why he's not there. So that'll be important in a little bit. So yeah, and what Kyrie is actually doing is investigating the scene of the suspected gangler where they fought all the foot soldier guys, and he's looking at this wall trying to see how they got away, where they could have gone, and all that. And out of nowhere, Good Striker just like started crawling in Kyrie's shirt. Like, how did he get there? But then he warns Kyrie that he's being watched by the global police, along with Toma and Umika, and the fact that they're on to them, kind of. They don't really have evidence, but they're on to them. They're watching you guys to see what you'll do and stuff. So it's really good. I love this episode so much. So back at the bistro, the Lupin Rangers start to panic over this news that they're being watched. And then Sakuya texts Umika about if she's working tomorrow or not. He's doing it sort of to see that, Umika is either going to be there or not, trying to see if she's actually innocent. And she texts him back that she's working all day. She'll be at Gerrer all day tomorrow. So he relays this information to Keiichiro and Tsukasa and Hilltop and Jim and all those guys, and about the fact that she's going to be there, and he wants to prove that she's innocent. So they'll just watch what they do, see how it goes, and he'll prove Umika's innocence, basically, is what he's trying to do with the text. So that's that. So now that they know that Umika and them are going to be at Gerrer, that's when they begin their plan, sort of. And they dress up, the Patho Rangers dress up Jim Carter with putting this like fake safe on top of his head with tape, and it's really funny. I really think it is. And then sort of disguising a bunch of global police officers as factory workers or something for that industrial area that I talked about earlier. So so it'll look like Jim is attacking people at the plant. I think it's some sort of factory. I can't remember what it is. It's some sort of factory, but that's not important anyway. So now with Tsukasa and Sakuya at Jurere at the bistro, their their plan has begun. So they fake the news that a gangler has attacked some workers at the industrial site, and they run off and they then hide around the corner across the street from Jurere and see what happens. And now at the industrial place, Keiichiro is watching Jim Carter just beating up all those fake workers, the global police disguised people, and it's funny. He's like, he's acting, right? No, he's taking his aggression out on all these guys he works with. But it's funny. I love Jim Carter as a character. I really like him. But anyway, more importantly, soon after Jim Carter is doing all this, the Lupin Rangers actually show up, and Keiichiro is shocked. So this part actually, made me confused because I'm like, so did they actually leave the place, or is there's some sort of plan going on? And I think I know, like when I first watched this, I think I knew what they did, how this is possible. So, but we'll get into that in a sec. So when they're about to attack Jim Carter, he stops them and says if they answer a riddle, they can get his collection piece, which he actually doesn't have. And they actually fall for it too, which is funny. They actually start questioning. They like go over the riddle and everything. I thought that was a funny moment, just while Jim Carter sort of like sneaks away. It was just funny. It was funny. It really was. And so, with the Lupin Rangers actually showing up and nobody exiting the front door of the bistro, Tsukasa and Sakuya storm in through the door of the bistro, and Toma and Umika are still inside. So I was thinking, how is that possible? I don't get it. It's weird. And then she asks about Kairi. She wants to go see if he's actually upstairs. And then I thought, okay, they're busted. But he actually shows up, which is kind of weird. I'm like, okay, this is very confusing. How is this possible? But I did notice that Kairi says bonjour, which made me think that maybe it isn't actually Kairi, and we'll get into that in a sec, I promise. So with the Lupin Rangers versus Jim Carter actually runs away, and he's tired, and he leans on that wall that Kairi. I don't know if I talked about the wall. He was checking out this wall to see if there's like some sort of way to get over it or something. Jim Carter actually leans on it, and it's a secret door, and he falls in. His fake safe is left on the ground and everything, so we see him like fall down or something. We don't actually see into it, we just see that it's a fake door. So yeah. And then, back at the bistro, Sakuya and Tsukasa have exited, being very confused, and we see that Kairi is actually Kogure in disguise. It was a mask and these pumps kind of shoes to make him taller a bit, which I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I know I've been kind of hating on Kogure at this point, but that was actually a really cool move, I have to say. I like it. I like it a lot. Because he said bonjour when he entered the room, and I'm like, does Kairi actually say those? I know he says adieu and all that, but I don't know. In my mind, I thought he sounds a little like Kogure, but then I saw him actually pull off a mask, and I'm like, okay, it is Kogure. So I really like that moment. I thought that was very interesting, and I was thinking how they were going to get out of all this stuff, and Kogure is actually helping them, which is cool. And the disguises continue, because back with the quote unquote Lupin Rangers, it's actually Kairi with his doubles. When he uses Good Striker, it makes three of him. So it's Kairi and then two more Lupin Reds that have been disguised as Lupin Blue and Lupin Yellow, which is really cool. But they're masks on masks, which was kind of weird. But like I said, this episode is just full of cool things. I love it so much. Kairi then finds the secret door that Jim fell through, and he goes down this staircase into this like underground sort of what looks to be a laboratory, because they've got Jim on a table, and then there's a bunch of people chained up that the Portermen are, you know, sort of antagonizing and everything. But and then out of nowhere, Goshu just walks up near Lupin Red and makes him jump, and Goshu tells him that she is the Gangler's top doctor. So we finally know what her place is in the Gangler organization. And we see that this underground place is where she's been experimenting on humans. We learned in an earlier episode that she wanted more humans to do tests on, and this is where she's been doing it. So that's interesting. We learn more about Goshu, I guess. And then we get this cool, these cool fight scenes with Lupin Red fighting the Portermen in this underground place, and Keiichiro storming in as well, trying to rescue the people and Jim. He actually leaves Jim on the table first, but it was funny. It was funny. So at least he's there to take care of the citizens. So, but then back to Lupin Red and Goshu. It's a pretty cool fight scene because she's got like gun barrels for fingers. So, or maybe it's in her hands. Either way, she's blasting things, making holes in the concrete pillars. It's so cool. These fight scenes with the Lupinrangers, I swear. I mean, I guess both teams have awesome fight scenes, but this is just really cool to see Goshu really in action. This is awesome. And she's just playing around with him. She's not actually concerned about being defeated. She's just blasting everything and Kairi's just dodging and dodging. It's really cool. She then tells him that she can see everything he's doing using the other collection piece, because we know she has two collection pieces. She has that gun that helps her not only revive but grow the Ganglers that are defeated, but she also has a pair of binoculars that, when used, she can, I guess, tell her opponent's moves, or she can see something that others can't when she's using the binoculars and everything. So it's interesting. We don't really know what it does, so that's why I'm questioning it. We don't really know what it does, so I don't know how she's using it against him like this. Anyway, she switches the binoculars for the gun, and then she actually makes the foot soldiers, the Portermen, grow. So we don't have a giant gangler in this episode, which is different. It's different. They're mixing it up. I like that. And so, with the place crumbling, Goshu leaves with her dimensional sort of thing she does, and then Lupin Red launches his jet, and he goes to fight the giant Portermen. And also with the bistro workers sort of cleared of the suspicions, Toma and Umika then show up in their vehicles as well to help out. And then they form Lupin Kaiser to fight the giant Portermen. I keep forgetting what their names are. I'll get it. I just keep calling them foot soldiers. I just want to get the name down. So he launches Good Striker. Lupin Red launches Good Striker. They form Lupin Kaiser, and it's kind of fun, this fight scene. I like it because usually the Gangler is sort of like on an even level with them as far as fighting, but with the Portermen, it's kind of silly. They actually like huddle up and try to like form a plan to face the Megazord, and it's funny. It doesn't work. The Lupinrangers in the cockpit, they even say that's kind of sad. They just rush in and just like send them flying and everything. It's really funny. I didn't think they had a chance at all, the Portermen, so it was funny. Then Lupin Red launches the Cyclone Dial Fighter, well, and equips it as the new arm, using that really cool tornado finisher, which is so cool. Send You Flying Shot, I think it's called. So that's really awesome. And sorry if my voice is a little hoarse. I think I need a drink of water. I should have got a glass of water before this. But anyway, back at the bistro after the foot soldiers have been defeated, Kogure is talking with the Lupinrangers about. Let me see. Okay, I have it. I have it on my tablet right now. So the Lupinrangers are at the bistro talking to Kogure about uh, being cleared and about how it was cool that he had a disguise and everything. And then Kairi brings up what Goshu said. She said something weird to him about the binoculars, the binoculars piece of the collection she has, and he asks how does it work, and Kogure says binoculars, and like it's he was trying to think about it. He says he doesn't know and that he'll look into it, but I think he knows something. I just and he looks back again. I think he's just so shifty, but I really liked him in this episode. I'll just say that. So now with the Patoranger, they're talking about how their plan kind of failed and that Tsukasa was wrong. And eventually they will find out, the identities of the Lupinrangers, even though they actually did find out the identities. They just didn't have evidence, but whatever. And about how Umika is innocent. Of course, Sakia brings that up. So, but like I said, this is a really awesome episode, I have to say. It's just, and there's a little thing at the end here talking about the riddle. I don't really need to talk about that. The answer is lips. I'll just say that. If you if you're wondering about the riddle, it's lips. They say it at the end of the episode, whatever. It's a weird one, but anyway, great episode, I think, just really fantastic. Okay, so I know this was kind of unorthodox. Sorry if it sounded a bit weird or different than usual. Usually I take notes, but I was just going off the actual episode on my tablet. I was watching it while doing this, so sorry if it sounded different. But anyway, final thoughts. This episode was so amazing. I love it when there's just a really awesome sort of story for the episode. We've had good episodes so far. I know we're only like 8 episodes in, but this episode has got to be one of the best, I think. Just really awesome. They were in a situation where they could almost get figured out and get arrested basically, and they got away with it. I love it. I love it so much, and I was just theorizing the entire time before it premiered. How are they going to do this? How are they going to trick the Pata Rangers? And they use disguises, which is a very thief-like thing, and I love that. So very very cool. And the next episode, I won't give any like spoilers or anything from the preview that there is at the end of the episode, but it looks really cool, and we're getting more story with one of the Rangers, so it's going to be awesome. Again, like I usually say with these, I cannot wait for the next episode. It's going to be awesome. I love this series. So thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you can be notified of future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.